I found the story this evening while I still have laryngitis, and I had to read it because I thought it was pretty entertaining. I found it on a website called, it's called Vocal Media, and this is called Waste Disposal, a love story. It's written by a person named Kendall Defoe. A long time ago in a suburb far, far away, Stella could not help herself. All these years later, and here she was, back in the hometown that she promised herself she would not return to unless some special force pushed her in this direction. But here she was, guiding her SUV through the narrow streets of snow, slush, and new homes. Well, newish homes. She noticed that the field where she played soccer was now all mansions, and they had built a parking lot and a small jungle gym that she would have loved as a kid. So unfair, she thought, but there was nothing she could do about that. She had already reached South Bend and knew that she would soon be there. Was it a good idea to bring the SUV? Stella knew that there were a few suspicious souls out there who would wonder about the vehicle. Where did she get the money? Why was she coming back at this time of year when she usually took her vacations in Mexico and Colombia? What was she thinking coming back with her attitude? She was still thinking about her old high school friends. Actually, friend, that relationship did not last. Laura was now a Ms. Cooper with a dull middle-class life. Stella knew that there were at least 2 kids. Well, there had been 3. Such a terrible loss. So terrible. She could hear the equipment making noise in the back as she turned on Newman Drive. It would soon be her stop in a suburb far, far away. Why was she thinking of that movie? Stella smiled and thought about it. That time with Steve. It was really the last time things went so well. It was the last time she felt comfortable with a partner. And whose fault was it when things went bad? Stella was smiling, but it was hard to hold back all of those tears. All that time spent waiting for him to call. All that time figuring out what he was really up to. All that time with her family wondering why she wasted one moment dealing with someone who clearly preferred her friends or friend. Laura was not the one to blame for this, but she was the one Stella knew about. Must have been others. 2 more blocks. Her family would not have approved. There was already enough embarrassment with the police, local television, and press. They all had questions for anyone connected to the case. The case. That made it sound more real. It made it sound like something Stella knew would never be forgotten. 1 more block and then turn. And then school, work, another relationship gone sour, late nights at home with her plans and some thoughts about her past. Family, friends, and a place far, far away. And here she was in front of the place. She parked next to the fenced-off driveway. It was good to be a child in such a quiet place. No neighbors too close by except Mrs. Levy, and she must have passed away by now. The other house here with no lights on and plywood over the front door, windows and garage door. The only way in. She stepped out of the car and took in a deep breath. Perfect spot to keep all of this out of her hair. She went to the back of her vehicle, lifted the door, and looked carefully in the barrels. Plenty of space for them here. Amazing, she thought. The police never really had a clue about it, and she could even pass by occasionally to see if anyone bought the place. And it was amazing that the bodies could be set there. No one even looked at the dying lawn or the wreckage of her home. No one wanted to remember. Who would with all of that attention? Who would want to see all of that come out again? She smiled at the dim light of the dawn and closed the door.